Welcome to this edition of Game on Hockey for October 24th, 2024. How are you, friendo? My name's Graham Mosimann. So excited to have you here for your daily spin around all things NHL with the Game Over Network. Now, before we dive into the show, I want to tell you all about a little program we have that has brand new episodes coming out on Tuesdays and Fridays. It's called Hyperdrive Hockey with Max, Daphne, and their producer Kev, where they take a decidedly French-Canadian look at the entirety of the hockey world. It's such a good show, and especially if you're like a Western Canadian that maybe doesn't hear an Eastern Canadian or like literally a French perspective on hockey, it's a really, really good one, and you'll really dig it. It's a great show. Go give them a listen and subscribe to wherever your favorite podcasts are hosted. You can find all the links over at the Hyperdrive Hockey page on GameOverNetwork.com. So yesterday was a little bit weird. The only game you had on the schedule was between the Flyers and the Capitals, which was, fine. It was the Flyers and Capitals game. It's more so fascinating to see John Tortorella kind of reinvent himself into I guess I can't yell at everyone anymore type of coach. Washington wins this one 6-3. They may be a painfully boring hockey team to watch, but they're putting together a nice little run as they're currently 5-1, which I don't think anyone would have pegged at the start of this season. So, hey, good for you, Washington. Maybe you don't just exist to get Alex Ovetchkin the goal-scoring title. He's only 40 goals away now, by the way. So, with that, what do we have on the show today? Little bit of interesting and kind of pensive comments from Brad Marchand, which if you're a Habs person, will probably fill you with rage. A really cool thing and a very silly thing that the organist from the Seattle Kraken is doing. And finally, we're going to dive into how abjectly terrible Team Canada hockey jerseys are. Because we've gotten our full look at the Four Nations Faceoff jerseys, and they blow chunks. At least the Team Canada one does. But hey, that is nothing new when it comes to Canada, and especially our Olympic jerseys over the last couple of years. First, though, let's talk about Brad Marchand, who I really loved his kind of career progression. Now, as an Oilers partisan, I've never really had to deal with all the stuff about Brad Marchand that people hate. As a fan, it's never really bothered me. He's a pest. I'm a big wrestling person, so we love a good heel. But it was really interesting because during the Bruins' last game where they lost the Nashville Predators, there was this great moment where the cameras caught Jim Montgomery absolutely tearing a strip off of Brad Marchand. And when reporters asked him about it after the game, his comments I thought were so fascinating.
Over things like that, there's a lack of accountability nowadays because, people can't handle the heat, and you make a mistake like that, you deserve to hear about it. I'm glad that he said something about it. If he didn't, we would have a much bigger issue. So, that the fact that that's something that we're talking about is, it's disappointing, but that's the way things are today.
So a little bit earlier, we talked about how John Tortorella has kind of reinvented himself into this I can't really yell at guys the same way anymore. Brad Marchand pushing back against that, saying how you almost kind of need to. Now, it's really fascinating to see how the communication styles from coaches has changed so dramatically over the years. Looking at the Maple Leafs is a perfect example. Sheldon Keefe ran at 1,000 degrees constantly, to the point where I think it's not unfair to say that message was probably being toned out by the players. You look at it, at how Craig Berube tends to operate. He saves his yelling for the big moments where you really got to get the team's attention. Because, let's face it, I guarantee some old media folks will go, these damn snowflake Gen Z hockey players just can't stand the heat anymore because they're soft little soy boys. Where, in reality, the actual truth is, maybe you have to just treat people a little bit nicer and you can't yell at them for yelling at them's sake. So, I don't know where the exact truth is here in Brad Marchand wanting people to yell more and then John Tortorella realizing he can't do that anymore, but it's probably somewhere more accurately in the middle. So from there, we go from Boston all the way over to Seattle as the organist for the Seattle Kraken is one of my favorite people in hockey right now. His name's Benny Drawbars, and he just records the stuff he plays on his little organ before he gets into the hockey chants. And he has been working his way through Chappell Roan's record, The Rise and Fall of Midwest Princess, which is not something you hear a lot at hockey games. I don't think I've heard any of her music ever at an Oilers game, which is probably a failure on the Oilers' part. But, like, she sounds really good in organ form. Okay, so that shouldn't be enough. Please don't demonetize us, YouTube. It's not a weird copyright thing. It's a thing posted at a hockey game. It's fine, I hope. To our president, Andrew Berkshire, if I just got us demonetized, I'm so sorry. But it sounds pretty good, right? There needs to be more silliness in hockey, gosh darn it. And it's nice to see some coming from the organist for the Seattle Kraken. So we have just a couple minutes left in the show and want to get into the abject garbage that is the Team Canada national hockey jerseys. Because with a few small exceptions, they've always been terrible. And I don't understand why is it so difficult for Nike and now Fanatics to make a Team Canada jersey that doesn't blow chunks. So if you're watching on the feed here on YouTube, we got our Finland jersey up. It's great. It's dark blue. It's light blue. Suomi is on the front, which is the Finnish word for Finland, from my understanding. So that's awesome. Looks great. Team Sweden, heck yeah. You got the gold. You got the blue. Perfect. It's a Team Sweden jersey. It's always going to look awesome. USA. Red, white, and blue look good together. USA on the front. What else do you need? And then we get to Team Canada, modeled by Sidney Crosby in the official release from the Four Nations Faceoff. First off, you got the little Rogers ad on the shoulder, which is like, whatever, it's fine. And then you have this weird, like, smiling, happy little maple leaf on it that says Canada in the middle in a really clunky, weird font. You have stripes across the front, kind of like a dual stripes, almost kind of Montreal Canadiens-esque. And it's in cream and not white, though. But then you go to the weird, stupid collar, and that's in white and not cream. So, A, it doesn't match. Maybe we need to see the rest of the kit for this. It needs to be better. But, like, who's buying that? That is a crummy jersey. And when you look at the full history of Team Canada jerseys, like, with a couple of exceptions, they're all pretty bad. You had the Connor McDavid era, with the weird black shoulders with the tiny maple leafs in them. You had this one with the weird shoulders and the funky leaf. That looks like a turkey's butthole. Don't tell me it doesn't. These ones even worse. There's just, you have red and you have white. You have a maple leaf on it. How hard is it to mess that up? I mean, that one on the Hockey Canada logo probably arguably looks the best, but Hockey Canada is a garbage company. In a garbage organization. Maybe let's not put their logos on our jersey anymore. There you go. Canada 74. That looks great. Red, white, maple leaf, Canada. Done and dusted. Stop messing with the good thing. And stop putting Hockey Canada's logo on our jerseys. That's probably the biggest one. That'll wrap us up here for this edition of Game on Hockey. I'm Graham Mosimann. If you liked this show, please let us know and give it a review over on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you happen to be listening. Please subscribe and tell your friends, because we do this show every single day to get you all up to date in everything in the world of hockey in under 10 minutes.